Lots of good juicy energy. Don't really know a lot about it yet. I'm wanting to learn more. Yeah, there's so many layers to it, you know. There's so much. So it's been a lot of processing for me, but that's why I'm putting together some books. Like, I just released a book on the centers, and I'm doing my best to simplify it, like get all my one line stuff, just like dig into all the things and then simplify it for other people, because I know not everybody wants to one line it, not everybody wants to read 5 different books about it, you know, but they're curious. So that's my goal. So I want to keep resources like that going. So if you're interested in the centers, and then I'm putting together more about the gates, because that's one that people always get interested in, and so I'm just trying to get a vibe for the gates, and then mixing the astrology and the gates too. Anyway, let me know if like what pops out at you, if you want, like that might help me make some resources for people. I'd love to have a conversation with someone who knows more about this. Oh yeah, well, that's what I'm here for right now. You know, I know it's hard if you don't have specific questions popping up at you and you just want to generally know more, but if there's any questions popping up, then I'm happy to chat through them right now. Because yeah, learning like through talking and discussing, that can be really powerful, like having an actual class, you know, an organized class. But again, I'm happy to answer things right now because I love chatting about it. What exactly does it mean to be a generator? Okay, that's an awesome question. So generators are combined generators and manifesting generators are about 70-ish% of the population. And you have your sacral defined. This is just a chart I created to help separate the centers. And so you have the sacral defined. Generators are the only kind. Projectors, manifestors, reflectors do not have that defined. And so with that defined, that means you have consistent access to life force energy. That's the sacral gut reaction to things, to life. And so you're here to work, essentially, but you're here to be lit up by your work. So one thing that projectors have a hard time with is like, am I just supposed to be the slaves? But no, you're here to be lit up by life. Like this, the sacral center, life force energy, right? Sexual energy. Hopefully that word doesn't get me banned. But it's like literally meant to be turned on like a battery. Okay, so you're meant to really share that goodness. And then when you are doing what lights you up, then people and opportunities are drawn to you because you have this magnetic enveloping aura. And so they're drawn to you, and then that gut will react. Like, you know, you've had gut reactions to stuff where it's like your gut says, no, stay away from that person, or yes, we love that person, or that job opportunity, or anything like that. And so in an ideal, perfect world, with the generator, you wake up with a tank full of gas, a battery full of charge, you go about your day doing things that you love to do. People are drawn to you, you use that gut reaction to know where to go and who to interact with, and then you just fall to bed exhausted because you've drained your battery doing so much that you love. And then you sleep, and then you wake up and you do it all over again. So let me know if that answered your question. Independent Pigeon, I'm loving the human design content, manifesting generate the emotional authority right here. Awesome. Hi, Independent Pigeon. That's so great. Thank you for hopping on. Firecracker, I agree with that 100%. Yay. I think that one was early on when I was talking, so I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm glad you agree. And then the manifesting generator is so interesting to me, how there's like this debate in some circles. Yes, it did. Thank you. Okay, good, Firecracker. 6-3 manifester, emotional solar plexus. Yay. Kashar. Sorry. Sometimes usernames are hard. I don't want to call you the wrong name. 6-3 manifester, emotional manifester. So I always, okay, so that's an interesting combo. Kosh or Nay. Okay, thank you, Kosh. Thank you. Did you have any specific questions about your energetic makeup? Because I was just about to nerd out on random things about it, but you might know a lot and not have any questions. So I didn't want to just start saying things that you weren't interested in talking about. But Firecracker, I'm glad that helped. And if there's other questions popping up for you, then please ask away. That's what I'm here for right now. Thank you for the rose. So sweet. Go for gold. I love hearing random things. Okay, awesome. So that 6-3 profile, that's a lot of 3-line energy. Narad, love human design, but wow, it's too confusing for my brain. I get ya. Yeah. No, I understand. Like, it shocks me that it makes so much sense to me, Narad, honestly, but if there's any questions that pop up, like, that you're wanting clarity on right now, then hop them in there and I'll see what I can do. But back to Kosh. Okay, so with that 6-3 profile, you know, there's a lot of 3-line energy, which just means that there's a lot of messing up. Like, it looks messy from the outside because the 3-line energy needs to really be involved in order to understand what's happening, in order to learn if that thing is good for it or not. And like, I'm a 1-3, so I have that 3-line, so I know, and sometimes it's so exhausting. It's like, I'll get in a relationship or a job and I'm like, I think this is good, yeah, this is good, but then I'm like in it and like, this is not good, not liking it. And so it's just about getting that experience. And with the 6-3, then that's double 3-line life until your Saturn returns. So I don't know how old you are, but up until about 30ish, double 3-line. So there's a lot of learning through experience. I'll put it that way. But the beautiful thing about the 3-line is that there's no such thing as mistakes, because the 3-line is always learning. We're the scientist. It's like if a scientist is always doing experiments, right? You do the hypotheses, you do the experiment, the thing blows up, and then you're like, cool, you go in, you figure out why the thing blew up on that time, and then you go back, create a new hypothesis based on the information you gained, do another experiment, and see what happens from there. That's what we're doing with life. So it's a great thing. And then when you, let's see, yeah, but it's like I have to go through every single situation in the relationship before I'm like, okay, I get it's not going to work. Yeah, I understand. Tripolar, 6-2 mental projector that I found your page. Awesome. Tripolar, don't go anywhere. I'm going to say a couple more things to Kosh. And then I love talking to other mental projectors, and I'm putting together a mental projector group course. So I'd love to chat with you about it. That'd be awesome. So, but the interesting thing, the thing that I find so interesting with yours is that 6-3 combo plus the manifestor vibes, plus the emotional vibes. There's like a lot happening there because the manifestor wants to dive in and just like gets a creative urge, wants to go in, wants to do the thing, fulfill its creation or creative insight. And then the 3-line is like, yeah, man, dive in, throw the spaghetti at the wall, let's figure it out. But the emotional authority is like, whoa, I'm gonna need you to calm down for a sec. I haven't committed to this. And so I feel like the emotional manifestors, it's like the emotional authority just helps you to not take over the world so quickly. Because otherwise you'd probably be too powerful. That's what it seems like. It's almost not fair that you have this halt device for you that's like, no, I'm gonna need you to ride the wave before you commit to something. Before you get this train rolling, you're gonna need to ride the wave. And so that's a good thing for you to help make sure that you don't 3-line too much, but just a lot of things happening there, it seems like. So that's what hit me, the dynamic of that energetic. Kosh says yes. April, another emotional manifestor, yay! And you feel that too. Yeah, I feel like the emotional manifestors, such an intense combo, you know? Gosh, I try to tell everyone else my ideas so they can take it on, but my strategy is to inform, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that informing piece is really important for the manifestor, and I've follow a couple other manifestors specifically because I love observing people in their own energetic, and that's part of why I started the podcast that I have, so that I can really talk with people and pull out specifics of their own design, you know. And I see some manifestors who are like, I don't want to inform you, especially this one ego manifestor. She's like, I don't want to, I'm not gonna do it. I'm like, ugh. Just as the daughter and a mom of a manifestor, I see how important it is, you know. And it's not like I'm trying to control either one of them. It's just like, especially when my kid was younger, like, I just need you to talk to me, like, before you run out into the parking lot, so that we can discuss other options, you know. And then my mom would just, like, we'd be out at a store and she'd just start walking off somewhere, like, can you tell me that you're going somewhere before you go, so that I can know and I don't feel abandoned. So yeah, that informing piece be really good for all involved. I can't help myself. I have to stop myself sometimes because I can be too intrusive. April, I feel like I'm conditioned to be a generator at the moment. I'm trying to quit being that. Oh my gosh, April, you and everybody else, yes. And you're the other emotional manifester, so I'm sure Kosh can relate to that too. I mean, me being a mental projector, I know that was one thing that I've had to work through so much at the beginning of my experiment, looking around. I mean, for most of my adult life, I mean, I've been a single mom and working like 3 jobs and trying to be a good mom and just doing all these things, right? And so part of, like, a huge part of my deconditioning was figuring out how to align my own energy. And it's like, now I don't even understand how I did all that. I don't, because I don't want to do it anymore. Tripolar says same, April. Yes, see, I think especially as mental projectors, like Tripolar and I are, we're our environment is so important, and the world is made up of generators, you know, 70%. And what has been built by generators historically. So it makes sense that we'd pick up on this and think, okay, well, that's where we go find success, because this is how people are successful. But it's like our own energetics are what is really key there. So yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I think so many people can relate to that. Tripolar, the 6-2 mental projector. Love it. I always, I didn't say this before with Kosh, but that 6th line I'm always so intrigued by, because, gosh, I wish I could move up to the roof and tone down this 3 line for a while. It'd be great. Cribbage, I just learned I'm a manifestor 6-3. Oh my gosh, all the manifestors today. There's always themes when I go live. It's so fun. So fun. April says, wow. So, okay, Cribbage, we have another, well, she's 3-6 manifestor on here, and then another emotional manifestor. So, yeah, all of it. And then we have another mental projector. Me and Tripolar are the mental projectors hanging out here. So, lots of combos. April's a 5-1. Awesome. Awesome. Get a little bit of that 5-line energy going. Oh, but, oh, let's see, Tripolar. So I had told you I have this mental projector group course that I'm putting together. So since a mental projector's here, I'm like, I'm gonna soundboard it and see what happens. Because see, this is what happens whenever I try to talk about it, and like, I think I feel really called to do this, but then it's like anytime I start talking about it, the words leave me. It's ridiculous. But I just wanted to talk about it and see if you think, yeah, just see what happens with the soundboarding. April, you're looking to order books. Awesome. My nephew's a 5-1 Manigen, and then my twin nieces are 3-5 Manigens. Wow, so much 5-line Manigen energy. How cool is that? Oh, and we have 5-1 Manny Jen. Very cool. Man, twin nieces with 3-5. That's so cool. But this mental projector course, basically like 6 weeks, we dive into the energetics of mental projectors, like you getting to know your specific energetic, because you're 6'2", I'm 1'3", but then we have different configurations in our charts, you know, different incarnation crosses, different sun signs, all of that. And so you getting in touch with yours specifically, being able to unpack that and tune into that can just help with the power of it. And then also my vision is to have a group of people who can like we can soundboard with each other, because not everybody has a solid soundboarding relationship in real life. You know, that's something that I've realized that I've had to work through, is like my people in my real life, like I've been trying to soundboard my whole life without realizing what it was, and they don't listen to me, or they'll interrupt me, or they'll start telling me what they think I should do. They're not understanding that I just need the space to speak, and how like I'll go to different people to like soundboard with different vibes, right, to help like sample it. It's like I've been doing this my whole life, and so that's part of why I love human design so much, because it saved me, because it gave me this visual to what I've been doing my whole life. So you know, then you can find other mental projectors, y'all can soundboard with each other and start understanding what that feels like, and then that would help to just bring in other safe soundboarding relationships in your real life, right? Because then you know more of why you're soundboarding and all of that. So it'd be 6 weeks, a group thing, diving into specific energetics, building a community and network of mental projectors. That's the plan. But I gotta talk about it, and I gotta bring people in, because I want to start in like 2 weeks. So gotta stop letting the imposter syndrome get in the way. So I saw things pop up. Let me see what I missed here. Two other nieces. One is a 1-4 projector, one's a 4-6 generator. Oh man, okay, so love on that little 1 projector, man, because there's so much generator energy around her, and she's a 1-4, so love on her. Tripolar says yes, yay. Does that sound like a good, I mean, I think it'd be great, right? Colsey, 2-4 generator, how do you find what you're good at in your chart? Awesome question. Let me go through these real quick and organize my thoughts, and I'll come right back to it, okay? But as a 2-4 generator, real quick, just do what you want to do. Do what lights you up. The end. But I'll come back to it in a minute, okay? Tripolar, a few days ago, I hate when they disappear. A few days ago, I tried to explain to one of my best friends, and it did not go well at all. That has happened to me too. So sending you so much love, because that has happened to me too, and I've lost relationships because it's like that's something in my deconditioning, as I realized like this is something I actually need. Like this isn't a nice to have. It's like if I'm gonna have an actual relationship with somebody, I need them to be a safe soundboard. Otherwise I'm not gonna be able to thrive. The end. So I've lost some stuff too, and some family. Like I haven't totally lost the family, it's just our relationship has very much changed. It's tough. Susie, I'm a 3-5 affector and curious about that dynamic between two people who complete a channel together. Oh, that's a great question. Okay, I'll come back to that too, because that can be really dynamic. Tripolar, she told me if I didn't want to be told what to do, don't talk to her about it. That's what people tell me too. Or they're like, you're just whining about it or something. And it's like, no, I literally don't understand how I feel until I talk about it out loud. And you're being rude. So yeah, people have told me that too. And that's why I think about the group of mental projectors getting together, because I guarantee you every single other mental projector has at least one story like that. And so then it's hard to understand what soundboarding actually feels like. Like, you know, I've had a couple opportunities. I have one generator friend who's amazing, and I explain it to her and she gets it. So anytime I'm like, hey, I need a soundboard, she's like, do it. And she'll just listen to me, you know? So like having that one friend has saved me. And then I look back on other experiences in the past and I realized that I was soundboarding and like how that was so beneficial. So yeah, some people don't get it, and that's okay. They're not your people, as sad as that is. You know, my cat's sleeping behind me and she's just started snoring. April, yes. Okay, tripolar. Then I learned about soundboarding from your page and it all clicked. Oh, good. Good, I'm so glad. Yay. So good. And it's helped you since then? Angels, I have so much white in my chart, I don't know where to start. Okay, same. I only have 2 defined centers. I have five of my centers are white. So, Angel, tell me what your type and authority is. It'll say on your chart. April, my family dynamic has changed as well. Has it? I feel like that happens once you start deconditioning and aligning to yourself, because especially with your family of origin, you've mutated yourself a lot just to survive, right? Onyx, what human design are we talking about? Well, there's only one human design system that I know of. If you're talking about specific things, like I'm just kind of bouncing off of whoever talks in here and tells me about their type or their profile and asks a question. So we're just kind of jumping in. And I was talking about mental projectors specifically a second ago, because those are the ones, mental projectors are the ones that really need a soundboard. That's the only way we can access our intuition. And so yeah. Angel, your profile 6'2", awesome. Okay, so that's a good one. We have another 6'2". Tell me if you're projector, generator, manifestor, reflector, one of those. And let me know. Any tips for generators? Yes, Angel, that you're a generator. Okay. Are you a sacral generator? Angelite, keep talking. I gotta go back because I told a couple people I would come back and look at their questions. So keep typing. If you tell me, are you a sacral generator? Like, what are your colored centers? Okay, so the 2-4 generator, Colsey, are you still here? Let me know if you're still here, Colsey, because 2-4 generator, let me tell you that 2-4 is a very dynamic profile, and then being a generator is a very dynamic type. And so the reason I say do what you want to do what you're good at, because that 2 line is naturally good at something, like annoyingly naturally good at something. I always tell this story of my kid's dad, who's a 2-4 generator. He was an Air Force pilot. When he was in pilot training, like full-on Top Gun stuff, you know. I was actually pregnant with my second child while he was there. So I was momming and trying to not puke. And he was in pilot training. And he would like just sit there and listen. All the other dudes are taking notes and freaking out about stuff. And he graduated #1 just because it's what he loved to do. And then my oldest is a 2-4 projector, and he is so crazy good at science. The thing with the 2 line is that you don't always realize that that's a natural gift because it comes so easily to you. Like my son, pre-AP chemistry, sophomore year of high school, pre-AP physics, junior year of high school, got a 100 in both of them. Like just got a 100. And he would come home and he's like, everybody else is like studying a lot and like they're not really getting it, but this is really easy for me. And I'm like, yeah, because you're a flipping 2-4. So that's what I'm saying. And then the generator, the sacral center is meant to be lit up. So for someone else who asked about generators in general, your sacral center right here, it's meant to be lit up by life. Like that's the juicy part of life. It's the life force energy. So just really follow what lights you up and then let it respond to life and follow that response. You'll get that gut reaction, that gut yes or that gut no to people and opportunities. and places. So listen to that. And then the 4 line is the opportunist, and that, like, you have that connection with people. That's what'll bring your opportunities, is the connection. That'll also be what draws out your genius, because again, you don't really know that you're such a genius at something, and so you got to get around people and around your network so that they can be like, dude, you realize that you're really good at this, right? And then you can say, I mean, it seems pretty easy, but whatever, and then just keep doing that thing. So you got it made. I'm just projecting a little bit, can you tell? I'm like, your life must be so easy. But I don't know you, I don't know your life, so I'm not trying to judge anything. So Colsey, let me know what hit you on that. And then Susie, 3-5 reflector, curious about the dynamics between 2 people who complete a channel together. So let me know if there's a specific channel for you, but basically this is a really cool thing because, like, let's say I have gate 48 here coming off the spleen. Okay, well, if I move my finger, it goes away, but it's coming off the spleen here. And so, but I don't have gate 16. So then if I were to meet someone with gate 16, it might help me to really communicate the depth that I can't always do on my own, you know, or like there's just different energetics per channel that happens. But it's cool because then you both connect, and like, let's say if I meet someone with the hanging gate 16 but they don't have 48, then maybe being around me helps them to access some depth of knowledge that they, or like access be able to communicate a skill that they have. They can communicate it a little better, but it really depends on the specific channel. So let me know if there's a specific one. Okay, I'm gonna go back down because I know I missed some stuff. Okay, angel generator, sorry, cooking at the same time. No worries, do your thing. So hopefully that talk about generator and the sacral helped you specifically. 6-2 manage and sacral. Awesome. We have so many 6 lines in here. That's really cool. Hey lady. Hey Demza chick. Demza. Am I reading that right? Okay. Sorry. I don't have my glasses on, so I want to make sure I'm saying things right. I'm just going to say Demza. Angel, yes, sacral, go, I'm listening in here for the long haul, lol. Okay, good. Yes, April, I think it's just because we live in the Bible Belt and they don't believe any of it. Oh my gosh. Yes. Y'all, I used to be one of them too. Like in high school, I was so Christian. And now I'm back in the town where I went to high school and it's so Christian. And my boys are like, I don't understand. Like, why are they being so judgy? Let's just learn about this community. We have lots of interesting discussions, but yes. I've had people be like, I just want you to know that I pray for you every morning. Like, more than one person has said this to me. I'm like, thanks. Love a good prayer. I didn't ask why. Probably should have, but you're right. Bible Belt, good grief. Colsey, okay, so you're here. Awesome. Hopefully that helped you. Let me know if it brought up any other questions. I don't know what I'm good at. Well, not me, I had bad grades. I know, well, see, I just point that out to say that it's different for everybody, right? Like I cannot explain to you enough how my kid's dad, like, made it look so easy. Like, the instructors were like, we've never seen anybody be number 1 in a class by this many points. Because they grade everything, right? Like, never. And he's seriously, like, the other husbands would come home and study for hours, and he would come home and watch TV, just be like, whatever. But then my kid is good at science, right? And so you saying you don't know what you're good at, this is where I say, get around your people and start listening to your people, because there are 2 lines. The thing I noticed with people who have become adults and have been conditioned, 2 lines are like, I don't know, man, I don't know. And that's fine. But just start listening to people, okay? Number 1, do what lights you up. Like, just start experimenting with that. Follow that sacral response to things. Like, you know, do you want to color in a coloring book? Like, ask your sacral, do you want to color in a coloring book? And if it's like, yeah, that sounds like fun, and then do some coloring. And it's just about asking your sacral closed-ended questions, yes/no questions, to help tap into the wisdom of that, because it needs something to respond to. So asking a sacral and open-ended question doesn't help. Like, what do you want to do with your life? Dude, I don't know. Do you want to go to college? Yes or no? Do you want to work in an office? Yes or no? You know, asking the closed-ended questions. So that will help tap into it. And then on top of that, get around other people, listen to their response to you. Start listening to people, or maybe you can even think back and realize there were some times where people are like, how do you do that? If there's anybody that's like, how do you even do that? Or how do you make that look so easy? And it's going to be something that you legit think everybody can do. It's so easy to you. You're like, I don't even understand why you're asking me this. Okay, because my kid's dad, one time we were at basketball tryouts for my younger son, and the coaches, there was like 50 kids around, right? And the coaches are like kind of looking around, half paying attention. They're like, whatever. And my kid's dad is like, how are they even going to analyze the kids? How do they know who's good or bad? I'm like, well, they've been doing this for years, right? They know half these kids already. And I used to be a basketball coach, so I'm like seeing what they're doing. I'm like, they're fine. And he's like, but it's so hard. Like, you have to watch so many kids and you have to do all these things. That's so difficult. And I looked at him and I was like, says the guy who casually graduated #1 from pilot training. And he goes, well, yeah, but that was just doing one thing. Are you kidding me? Flying a military jet is just doing one thing? No. And so, again, just to tell you, like, he legit, to this day, doesn't understand why it's such a big deal. So it's going to be that way for you too, probably. You just have to trust other people's reactions to you. And because with that 2-4, yeah, and the 2 line wants to hermit too, wants to be alone, but that 4 line really needs its people. And so another beautiful thing about the 4 line is that there's this externalization process that needs to happen. And this can help. Sorry, just forgot the name, but your niece is a 1-4. So the 4 line has the externalization where you need to just talk about stuff, okay? So you can just start telling your people, like, hey, I'm trying to remember what I'm good at. And maybe you want to go on some adventures, try some different things, like bring some friends along. Like, hey, I'm just on this journey to remember what I'm good at. Like, you want to come ice skating with me or whatever? And just start talking to your friends. I guarantee you your friends are like, dude, I mean, you do this thing and I don't understand how you do it. So try that. I just went on a whole tangent. 5-1 generator, Onyx. Okay, so Onyx, hopefully all that generator talk is good. We'll get back to the 5-1 in a minute. Colsey, good to know. Yay. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so Angel. Okay, in a nutshell, I'm a 6-2 sacral generator. Only have 3 centers. Spleen, sacral, and root. Got it. Trying to learn my strategy. Got it. So yours is all about the sacral, Angel. All about the sacral. Listening to that response, the gut response. And with it connected to the spleen and the root. The spleen is the home of intuition. And then that root has all of the pressure and adrenaline in it. So there's a lot of energy, a lot of intuitive energy in there. So trusting your gut, and it'll be, from what I understand, because I sadly do not have a defined sacral, but it'll be like a full gut thing. And you might even be one who just speaks out before you even realize what's happening. Like, you'll have a reaction to something and you're like, uh-huh, or uh-uh. And just feel it in your gut and you'll start to feel the response to things. So sacral generators, your strategy and your authority, both things are in the sacral. So your gut is your #1 brain. And then since everything else is undefined, what will happen for you is that sacral will say no to something. Let's say you get offered a job and sacral's like, nah, we don't like it. Undefined solar plexus will be like, all the white centers, I always say they're like dramatic teenage girls. So those are the ones that yell at you. Your definition, especially what you have, will be quiet and calm. Like, I give the archetypes, I give the sacral is like a dog, you know, because like it responds, it's like, do you want your ball? And the dog's like, yes, I want my ball. That sounds amazing. And do you want to go for a walk? Yes, I want to go for a walk. But then a cat, like my cat on my lap, I feel like a spleen as a cat, because the spleen is like, don't go there. Like, it's not going to repeat itself. It's not going to talk any louder, right? It's quiet, but it's always correct for you. And then the root is both a motor and a pressure center. So there's just a lot pulsing out from there. And so I say that to say is that spleen, why'd it go away? Spleen is going to be chill. And sacral is going to tell you what it wants in reaction, but things like the solar plexus is going to start freaking out and being like, well, you said you needed a job and you interviewed for this job, and if you say no, then you might hurt their feelings and it might be a whole big thing, and then like, what is your mom gonna say? And you have to explain things to her. And then undefined heart is like, yeah, we've got to prove our worth. If we don't have this job, like if we can just go to this job and then just do a really good job, then we can prove how good we are at stuff, and then maybe after that we can get the job that we actually want. But for right now, we just have to really prove that we're actually worthy of getting paid anything. And then crown and head up here, like, yeah, let's think about this logically here, because like solar plexus said, we're gonna have to explain ourselves, and then there might be a fight for stuff, and then we're like trying to logic our way in, right? So all of this is gonna yell at you, and it's gonna be way louder than the sacral. So that's why I tell you, go back to sacral every time. Learn to trust sacral. That'll save you. 59.6 specifically, why did I have a feeling it was that one? I really did. Okay, Susie. 59.6. Dang. I think it's because... Here we go. Okay, so 59.6. I actually have the 6. And then the 59 goes here to the sacral. So for anybody who doesn't know, this is the channel of sexuality. Yes. So 6 is friction. They say like this channel is all about making the babies, and then this channel is about taking care of the babies. So this can be an interesting one. So I will say to just be cautious with this one, because like I said, I have the 6 and I have someone in my life who's a friend. It's a man, he's married, right? But when I first was around him, there was like a little like sparky energy, and I was like, what is happening here? What is going on? And I'm like, I'm not trying to mess with any married man. Like, no. So I'm just like observing, like, oh my gosh, there's sparks. And then he asked me to run his chart, and so I did, and he has the full channel. So then immediately I was like, oh, that's what it is. Cool. Because then I could just see it's just mechanical, right? And so that helped me in how I navigate that relationship. And so the reason I bring that up is because this is a very mechanical, like very sparky connection. So if you have one half and the person you're talking about has the other half, don't let that be the entire relationship, is all I'm saying. It's like, make sure that and you're a reflector, right? You said. And so make sure you're giving yourself space to feel your own feelings, because if you don't have this defined, then you're gonna magnify other people's stuff. And if you are around somebody like that connects that channel, that connects the sacral and the emotional, like that's a lot. And so you probably feel differently when you're on your own. So just make sure that you're processing your feelings and purging this center, like clearing out this center when you're on your own. And have a friend that you can soundboard with. Reflectors actually really benefit from soundboarding, like mental projectors. Mental projectors and reflectors are like half a step away from each other. And the soundboarding can just help you process what's happening. And so again, the soundboarding is somebody safe who will listen to you and let you talk and not try to tell you what to do, okay? And then you might feel that it actually physically changes the energy inside you. You start to see things differently through the soundboarding process. So that's just what's coming to me, is like, don't let that be the entire relationship. Like, trust me, I get it. The vibes of that channel, They're so fun. So fun. But if that's the only thing, that's not a foundation. You know what I mean? So let me know if that clarified anything, or if I'm way off base, like whatever. Whatever came up to you for that, let me know. Say, very, very, very awesome information. Well, thank you. I love the 3 varies. That makes my projector heart feel so good. Appreciate it. Angel. But I'm listening for my son. He's 10 and a splenic projector. Ooh. Okay. Splenic projector. So he needs to learn to trust that splenic wisdom, like really help him to navigate that. He's only 10, so this is perfect. Perfect, because listen, they say that most of our conditioning happens before, like by the time we're 8. And so then after we're 8, it's like, this is why some adults act like 5-year-olds having a tantrum, because they are in that moment. It goes back to their conditioning. And so this is a great time to start digging in on some of that and to help redirect. And so helping him learn to listen to his spleen. And this is just things like, I mean, especially as a projector, he's got that penetrating aura, so he knows things already, and then having that splenic wisdom. Let me tell you, I have a podcast episode. If you go to my link, right, and then check podcast, there's one with a woman named Jessie, who's a splenic projector, and she just explains things so beautifully, so that might help you understand, because she talks a lot about her splenic wisdom. And so yeah, I mean, this could even be things like you go to a restaurant and he walks in, it's like, this place feels weird. Or he's at a friend's house and you know, he's supposed to spend the night, but he just can't, like, he feels weird. Like really helping him to tune into that spleen and to trust it and to help him nurture that. Because remember, the spleen speaks in the moment. So it's like, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. No. Like, yes, yes, good. Turn left. So, you know, it might be one of those things where like he signs up for something, or he wants to go to a friend's house or something, and like in that moment, it's good. But then by the time he gets to his friend's house 2 days later, spleen walks in the door and spleen's like, no. So that's the thing I would say. Like, especially as a boy growing up in this crazy world that we've created for ourselves, to be an intuitive man and honor that, I feel like the world needs so much more intuitive, strong, beautiful men. Just, I mean, so good. I'm always intrigued by splenic projectors. So let me know if that brought up any other questions for you, Angel. Say, how do I know what I am on there? Okay, so say, if you just Google free human design chart, there's plenty of options. I usually go to Jovian Archive or Genetic Matrix. And I mean, I have a program that I pay for when I work with my clients, but there's free sites on there. And then it's just based on your birth information. So you can put it in there and it'll come back to you. And then if you want, go look that up and then come back and tell me your type. Dems is fine. Okay, good. Thanks, Dems. Man, I've been talking a lot since then. Whew. Okay, 4-6 manage and sacral with single definition, all solid centers except solar and root. What does it mean? Okay, so solid centers, do you mean they're white? And just the sacral and root have a color? Is that what you mean? Let me know. April, yes, all the time. Okay, Mare. Hi, you're live. Introduced me to human design. I'm a 1-3 projector. Any advice, thoughts? Hi. Okay, I hope you're still here, Mare. Yes, I'm a 1-3 mental projector. So great. Let me go ahead and get to the bottom, just like get an idea of where I am on comments, and I'll come right back. Okay. Okay, so April had to go. So hopefully that 59.6 information was good. Angel, that's the same with my son, to Mare. Oh, so your kid's a 1-3 splenic projector, Angel? Okay, then good. Yeah, talking about 1-3 projectors will be good. I'll get there in a second. Let me just check in. Tripolar, only my top 2 centers are defined. My authority is none. So you just have these 2. Okay, so yeah, mental projector has authority is none, which feels exhausting. So as a mental projector, we only have this definition up here. Like I just have the ajna and the throat defined. That's it. So this one is white for me, and then the rest is white. But mental projectors can have 2 to 3 of these defined, but then everything down here is undefined. And that's why our environment is so important, and that's why we have to soundboard. That's because we don't have consistent access to any of the internal energy at all. Susie, yes, both apply in my situation. Yes, reflector. Thankfully I have a sound for it, but feelings stay the same even when I clear the energy. Okay, so that's important, Susie. And I'm sorry it took a while to get down here. Hopefully you're still here, but that's important to know. So good. You know, and the only reason I brought that up is like, don't let that be the only thing, right? But I mean, gosh, if you have a relationship with that connection and it's a healthy relationship, like that sounds like so much fun. So much fun. It'd be amazing. Angel, 10 going on 40. A little, yes. Let me tell you, I have been 40 years old since I was 5. And now that I'm 40, I really wish I could be 5. Projectors alone are old souls. But yeah, I could see that, Angel. Susie, thank you so much. You're so welcome. Yay. Thank you for asking the question. Hope that helped for you. He's so smart. A 1-3. I will. Okay. Awesome. 5. Indian 5s for 6-3 projector. Root center defined. Yes, just a minute. So I'll talk about the 1-3 projector and the 6-3 projector. What's my incarnation cross, Angel, is right angle cross of rulership, which sounds like so fancy. It like really intimidated me at first. Mary, you're still here. Okay, good. Susie, it's so complicated. It can be, but that's why I do what I do, because I love it and I want to make it simple for people. And I just want to say that, you know, this is your experiment. This is for everybody here. It's your experiment. So go as deep or as shallow as you want. Like, I know people who really like just understand their own specific energetics and they're like, that's all I really care about, you know, and that's fine. You don't have to go off the deep end with it. And honestly, like when I first started, I dove in, but then I realized this like second layer. I mean, there's so many layers to human design, right? So then someone introduced me to this other, the color tone base aspect, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then I learned about transits, and I was like, I can't handle this. So sometimes I have to step back for a minute and like process what I've actually learned, and then all of a sudden I'm ready to go to this next level. So don't put any pressure on yourself to do any specific thing with all of this information. I'm in self-study for just 7 months. That's awesome, Angel. I want to learn everything. Yeah, I understand. I understand. Oh, the color tone base. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that today, but it's so basically, you know how you have all the gates on the sides and it'll tell you, it'll be like mine is 47.3 and then 22.3 over here, and then 45.1 and 26.1 over here. So really it goes farther than that. Each gate has a color, a tone, and a base. And so that's why even if I were to meet another 1-3 mental projector, there's so much difference, right? Or if I meet somebody else with gate 47, well, I'm 47.3, they might be 47.2 or 47.1. And then even if they're also 47.3, well, then I have like 0.3, 0.2, 0.1 or whatever it is. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's way too much for life. Don't even worry about it. It's just called color, tone, and base. It's not, yeah. I probably shouldn't have said anything. All the one lines are like, what? There's more. So, and it's like a deeper layer. So you really got to seek out some source material for all of that. Your LAX education. Okay, I got you now. I got you. Yeah. So if you go to the Human Design website, like the main website, it's with Jovian Archive. I think it's International Human Design. Let me see if I can find it. They have all the books. Like if you're not ready to dig in and be a like certified analyst from human design, from the International School of Human Design, you can buy all the books that they use to study. You can get all of them. And you can dig in deep on those if you want. Yeah. Yep. You sure can. And then, on Scribd. There's a app called Scribd, SCRIBD, and it's kind of like Audible, has a lot of books, but apparently they have human design books. I just finally downloaded it, so I was trying to get through some Audible stuff, so I haven't explored it much, but you can find it there. I'm trying to find the website real quick. Human Design America, humandesignamerica.com. They have a lot of books there, so you can check that out. How do the channels work? Okay, tripolar, that's a good question. We can talk about that. I'm a single definition. Husband is split. His head ajna is defined. Mine is not. How does this work together? Okay, that's a great question. I will. Okay, so first I got to go back because real quick, I want to talk about the 1-3 projectors because we have a few on here who are asking about stuff. And so the 1-3 is like, basically if you want to know anything, ask a 1-3, because the 1 line will learn about it all. It's like book smarts. It wants to read all the things and get all the information. And the 3 line has lived it. The 3 line has messed it up, has gone in. Like the joke is like the 3 line is the one that died eating the berries because they were like, what's this thing? Let's try it. And then everybody else learned not to eat that berry. Thanks to the 3 line who was, brave enough. So that's kind of the combo of the 1-3, basically wanting to know all the information. And then with the projector, we have that penetrating aura. So projectors are really meant to master a system in order to help other people, to help the collective, or to help your community. And so the 1-3 is really a great teacher combined with the projector, because the projector aura alone sees things in a I was gonna say higher level way, but that doesn't mean it's like they're better. It's just, think of it like a bird, like you get a bird's eye view of things, whereas like the generators are like in it, working, like doing what lights them up. They're like, yeah, let's party, let's do this thing, right? And the manifestors, if we were to look at it all, the manifestors are like, I have an idea. They get a creative urge, they inform, they say, I have an idea, let's do this. And the generator sacral is like, yeah, that sounds cool, let's do it. And so the generators get in and they're doing it. And then the projectors are like flying around like birds, right? And they're like, okay, well, here's what's working, here's what's not working. If we did XYZ, it would make things a little more efficient. Let's do it this way. And then the reflectors, like there's like one reflector hanging out in each group that's like, okay, is everybody cool? Is everybody chill? This group seems like they need something, they're reflecting the energy. So that's kind of what happens, the way that we're all meant to work together. So that 1-3 projector, the only thing with us is like, the waiting for the recognition invitation, like not forcing our knowledge on people or getting upset if they're not listening to our knowledge, because we're also not meant for everybody. I can't help everybody on earth. That would be exhausting. I don't have the energy for that. And that's what the waiting for recognition and invitation really benefits us as projectors, because we don't have the energy for everybody. So if somebody isn't responding to your wisdom or isn't asking for more wisdom, then they're just not for you. Great. You can go chill. Like, you don't have energy for people who aren't for you. So hopefully that helped. And then, okay, talk about the channels and the single definition with your husband. In expert, we're talking about human design. Human design, it's like astrology on steroids, essentially. Shout out to the 3 lines, tripolar. Yes, yes, yes. Coding for reality, you know? An expert, you could kind of say that in a way. Yeah. So this is basically what the chart looks like. But I color coded this one to help separate the centers. So it's based on your date, time, and place of birth. You get a chart and you have certain places defined, certain places undefined. It helps you to know more about you specifically. So yeah, you could say it's coding for reality, because then you know your code, you know your energetics, and then you're able to navigate reality more efficiently. It's kind of cool. So it's based on your date, time, and place of birth, like astrology, right? Like, I don't know who created astrology. It's been around forever. But it's based on the planets and everything. And so this combines astrology, the I Ching, Kabbalah tree of life, and the chakra system to make a chart for you specifically. If you Google for human design chart and insert your birth information, then you'll get your own chart. And you can come back and tell me what your type is, and I can talk about it if you have any questions. But let me go back, because L-Wall, are you still here? Is that right? 6333? Your single definition, your husband is split, and you're talking about having his head ajna is defined and yours is not, and how that works together. And expert is next level, 100%. It can be a lot. So L-Wall, let me know if you're still here, but I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about that. So with head and ajna defined, your husband is really here to essentially condition the world with his inspiration and with his specific processing. So that's what happens up here. Like, this is all about inspiration. This is all about processing information. And so he's really here to process things in a very specific way. I have my ajna defined, and that helped me to just forgive myself for analyzing things, right? And so it's beautiful. And so with yours undefined, then you're here to be conditioned in those areas. And that just means that you're here to really learn about it, because you take in and amplify whoever has whatever center white, undefined, or open. That means you're taking in that energy and you're amplifying it. And so if your husband is like, his wheels are turning up here, he's processing things specifically, then with you undefined, you can probably read his mind essentially sometimes. There's probably times you have to wait for him to like get through all his gears before he's like, oh, so this is what's happening. Whereas you might be able to think like from more different levels. It's kind of like being closed-minded and being open-minded in a way, but it's just really like whoever's defined up here, you're just meant to process things in a very specific way, because that's what you're here to do. And that specific processing, when you share that with people, then you condition the world from that specific processing, and it's a beautiful thing. It's just part of what you're here to do. And with that undefined, then you are learning about different ways to process and all of that. So the best thing for that is just for you with it undefined, there can feel like a lot of pressure up here for you to really figure stuff out, to like prove you're certain, to act on inspirations. But just know that you're not here to be certain, because yours isn't defined. His is. He's here to be certain on specific things from his specific viewpoint. That doesn't mean like there's no right for everybody. There's no correct for everybody. There's correct for his system. There's correct for your system. And so letting him process his stuff and you not getting overwhelmed by it, I feel like that's the main thing. But if you're still here, I haven't seen you pop up yet, but let me know if that resonates, if that answered your question at all, or if it brought up more questions. Whew. I need to turn on the air in here, apparently. Angel, before you go, can you touch on completely open centers? Yes. So completely open means that the center is white and then all the gates around it are white as well. And so with those, then you are 100% being conditioned by the environment in that center. And so you just need to know the energetics of that center and learn to not take it on. So do you or your son have a completely open one? Like, let me know what specific one. I can talk to the energetics of that. But what that means is that there's no filter. So boundaries around that center is really important. There's no consistent energy that you have to help filter that energy. It's just completely open. Solar plexus and will. Okay, I had a feeling. Those are two of the hardest ones to have open. So with the wide open solar plexus, you're taking and amplifying all the emotions around you all the time. So being in a crowd could potentially be really exhausting. And knowing how you feel about something can be difficult, because with this wide open, you're here to be really wise about emotions. So you're taking in and amplifying all the emotions around you. And if you take that on as your own, then that can be really exhausting, and that can lead to you avoiding confrontation or avoiding truth of some sort, because you don't want to create uneasy feelings, because you feel so deeply and you feel so much that you'll avoid confrontation so that you don't feel that way. But make sure that you're clearing that solar plexus at the end of the day so that you're not taking on whatever's not yours. Just start to really observe how you feel around specific people and realize that just again, don't take on other people's energy, don't take on other people's emotions, because that is not for you. That will exhaust your system. But also know that you're a human lie detector, and so nobody can lie to you. If this is you, if it's your son with that splenic projector and then he has open solar plexus, forget it. Don't ever lie to that kid. He's gonna know. So yeah. And then the will, the heart center, ego center, for this to be completely open, this one is tough because both of us. Okay. Then yeah. So then you know how it feels, so you can help him. The thing with him too is that could potentially make him appear more emotional because he's feeling so much, especially if he's at school all the time and it's all the nonsense that happens in school. And an emotional boy, like, apparently our world thinks that boys don't need to show emotions, which is dumb. So helping him navigate that. And then with the wide open ego center, so this is the home of willpower and self-worth. So with that wide open, the hard thing is that you might not know your worth, like, at all. Wide open hearts have a hard time. I only have one gate and I still have a hard time. Like, I don't know what to price things half the time, And so knowing here, if you're ever trying to do anything just to prove your worth, that's how you know you're coming from a wounded place in this center, because open hearts are not here to prove anything to anybody. You have nothing to prove at all. You're here to learn about worth. You're here to learn about value. You're here to see who is showing up in their authenticity and who is trustworthy, and to learn about all of that. And you can, if two of these are open on somebody, good grief, like, you can rule the world if you're using it as your power, but this can take you down if you're stuck in the not self of it. So just making sure you're going back to strategy and authority all the time. And yeah, thank you so much. They're both open on me. Oh my gosh, Angel. I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot of energy to have open. But again, like, that makes you so incredibly wise. So incredibly wise. So being able to use that as a superpower. And then just the way to do that is to get into your definition, listen to your strategy and authority above all else, and then ask yourself, am I doing anything to prove my worth? And that's how you know you're coming from here. If you are, then it's time to go back to sacral and figure out where satisfaction is. And then if you're doing anything to avoid confrontation or truth, know that you're coming from this. And then you switch it to the positive. Like, am I avoiding confrontation and truth? Yes. Okay. Well, that's because I know a lot about feelings. So let's see what's correct here. What's correct for me to do next? Am I avoiding, or am I doing something to prove my worth? Yes. Well, that's nonsense. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. So what is it that I actually want to do next? Yeah. Goodness, I feel like I've been talking a lot. So I just have a couple more minutes. Go hang out with my kiddos. Let's see if anybody has any other questions. So Angel, I love it. Awesome. So I'm glad that helped. My best friend has all 9 lit up. Good night. That's a lot of energy. Interesting. That'd be a fun dynamic though, because you have so much open. So do you feel more grounded around them? That's what you said, yeah. I've only met one person. I didn't know him very well. I was just around people. I was looking up charts, and he just happened to come over, and they're like, let's look up your chart. And he had a wide open heart center. All the rest were defined. I was like, I want to talk to you so bad. Like, I'm so curious about how this shows up. Oh. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna head off and go hang out with my kiddos. You see her as strong. I could see that, yeah. Yeah. But thanks for chatting, everybody. I really appreciate it. I always have fun chatting with y'all. Good, Angel. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. And Tripolar, if you're still here, Marin, thank you for enlightening me. You're welcome. Absolutely. Absolutely. I always love doing this. And I do have the book on the centers if y'all want, link in bio. I have other stuff that I'll be putting out soon too, just to help with the understanding, especially in the beginning of your experiment. And the mental projector course, because it feels right. You're so welcome, Tripolar. And Tripolar, if you are interested, just email me, the link in my bio. You can email me real easy, because I don't have a sales page set up for it yet. I'm kind of 3-lining it. But email me and we can chat more about it if you were curious about that course at all. Yeah, for anybody else, I have my calendar available too, if you want to dig in deeper to your own specific energetics. And yeah, that's it. I love y'all. Have a beautiful night. Thank you so much for sharing some time with me.